with Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish already getting a taste of the early shenanigans of the 12-team playoff and its structure. Freeman and the Irish take its show on the road to the mean streets of the ATL to face off with Georgia Tech. Would you believe that there are people nationwide that believe that Irish should be on upset alert come Saturday?
I don't believe anything.
Well, believe it. Want to see the keys of the game and what Mr. CeeLo thinks about the game on Saturday? Find out next on Talk Like a Champion. Welcome back, Irish Nation. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. As you know, I am Mr. CeeLo, and I am in a pretty good mood. And I just got a notification that would be very good for us. Many of you have been very positive over the last couple of weeks. I've not been able to put a lot of emphasis on certain things, but a lot of you guys have been positive in your feedback about the way Riley Leonard has played in recent weeks. I most certainly have been positive, but we want to give a huge Irish Nation shout out to those down in Florida that are still recovering from the effects of the huge hurricane that took place down there a couple of weeks ago. There are people still without power and gasoline. Our prayers are with you, as well as the ones in South Carolina, North Carolina, and the other states, in certain areas, even around my home state. We're still in the midst of cleaning up. There's still trees on the sides of streets that haven't been picked up. But as I said, we're still recovering from that devastation here, and we keep you in our prayers. As Notre Dame travels into this state this week, my home state, they will be in Atlanta tomorrow to face off with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I will not be able to attend, unfortunately, but I, of course, will be watching. But this game just lost a lot of flavor because Georgia Tech's mobile quarterback, Haynes King, will be out. Now, I watched this guy against Florida State in the season opener, the season opener. And I was really impressed with the way this guy runs the football. However, the throwing of the football is something to be desired. It leaves a lot to be desired. And ultimately, I think, my biggest fear was when I saw him is he would go off on when he plays us. Because it's going to be a big stage. It's not going to be one of those stages where you don't want to show up, because Georgia Tech comes in unranked. Notre Dame ranked number 12, and they're 5-2. Before I get started, you guys, I want to give a huge Irish Nation shout out to Romello Height, who will be playing with the Yellow Jackets. Reason being, he's a hometown boy, a very good young man. He's very good, very active. Not getting nearly the amount of playing time that we suspected, but he's got 25 tackles on the year. But we're very proud of him. We're grateful that he has picked Georgia Tech. Wished he would have been a Fighting Irish guy. If you watch him on Saturday, you'll see why. The kid's got a motor that can go, and he just doesn't quit. Best of fortune to him in the game. May he play the game safely, and hopefully he doesn't do too much against us. But looking at this roster, Georgia Tech's got a really efficient defense. I don't worry about them defensively. But I will say this. I do believe now with Haynes King not in the lineup, there's going to be a lot of issues on the offensive side, because Their offensive line is pretty good, and the issue that you have is whether or not Georgia Tech is going to be able to move the football through the air. They've had a huge problem doing that against the quality opponents. Haynes King was up and down, and the reality of it is with him not playing this week, it leaves a lot to be desired for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets offense. And when you look at Zach Pyron, well, this guy's a good replacement. He's played in replacement or mop-up duty sort of situations. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know if the offense is going to be as efficient with him. And the truth of the matter is the Yellow Jackets knew this was coming, being that King is limited in his ability to throw the football. Now, this is the way I see this game going. Being that Notre Dame only has a limited amount of tape on this kid, I suspect Georgia Tech is going to throw the kitchen sink at us as far as motion. I think there's going to be a lot of movement on the offensive side. Their running backs are swift, but they're not Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. To me, those two guys are going to be the difference makers. I think ultimately Georgia Tech's defense with height and those other kids, you're looking at a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket offense that's only got 9 sacks on the year and 1 interception. So not a very opportunistic defense when it comes to turnovers. But what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to run the football. And Notre Dame's got to be careful. You're going into a hostile environment, and we can't get complacent. We've had some really good victories, but this defense reminds me a lot of Louisville. They have a lot of guys that are not very big weight-wise, but they're very fast. Yeah, and what could really get you in trouble if you're the Irish is you try to block these guys head up and they get a lot of movement on you. Georgia Tech likes to bring a lot of pressure on third downs. And what Riley Leonard's going to have to do is he's going to have to decipher where Georgia Tech's bringing the pressure from. And ultimately, it's going to have to be a situation where he picks right, or Denbrock's going to have to do a lot of different things, whether it's play action and read options on first and second down to keep Georgia Tech's defense off balance. Ultimately, we're going to have to do a lot what we did last week, which was keep the offense in rhythm, like doing quick throws on first down, play action on first down. But the one thing I want to see consistently, and I've heard a lot of show analysts and Notre Dame podcasters refer to, we're going to have to take our shots. Ultimately, you can't get like Georgia and Alabama have been the last 2 or 3 weeks. You fall out of love with the run. I will say this, that Denbrock and Marcus Freeman's commitment to the run is a breath of fresh air. But the reality of it is you've got guys like Bo Collins, Jaden Grayhouse, Deion Colsey, and several other those guys that, listen, we finally had a Jaden Thomas sighting last week. And it was refreshing. It was great. We're finding Mitchell Evans again. Eli Raridan, these guys. Listen, we can't go into games thinking about how we're going to get out of a game and just sweat bullets. We have to go in with a precise game plan to say, okay, this guy's going to get this one here. We have an abundance. We have an abundance of choices. This is one time we can look back at Notre Dame and say, we're a victim of choices. We've got an abundance. We're a victim of abundance. We got too many choices we can have to throw the football to. This is where I want to see Denbrock use his creativity and say, okay, you think this guy's going to get you? When the minute you forget about this guy hurts you. We've got those kind of guys. I just named you a few, and there's a few that I did not name. This is what Denbrock's got to look and say, okay, maybe this guy's not a good practice player. Or maybe this guy's a great practice player, but he's not good in the game. To me, Deion Colsey has made some really good plays with that second team. This is the guy that needs to get on the field. Give him the opportunity to go up and get some of these balls. We've already seen Bo Collins doesn't mind. Tell Riley Leonard that, look, if they're giving the safety, they're not giving safety help, or they're giving him safety one-on-one, that's where you're going. We have to open this offense up. And this needs to be explained to Riley Leonard. The more shots you complete down the field, one, it opens up the running game for you and the backs. Number two, at the next level, Riley, that's where you make the money. There are a lot of guys that can throw the short stuff. It's when you can hit those deep ones is where you're going to get paid at. I'm of the belief that you cannot be afraid to make those throws. You have to say to yourself, look, my guy's better. And that's what you walk back to the huddle and you say, Coach, listen, Bo's got to make that play. I left it out there for him. I left it for him to make a play. And then that's when Bo Collins has got to come to you and say, hey, bro, I let you down. I got to get that. Simple. It's as simple as that. Defensively, I think unless Georgia Tech is able to move the football and do a lot of misdirecting, I'm not worried about our defense as much. I know the loss of Benjamin Morrison is huge, but Georgia Tech's not really a throwing football team. They may take some shots to back us off, but I have enough faith in our blitz package and what we're doing defensively with Al Golden that I don't see this being a huge issue. Now, however, that doesn't mean we can get sloppy, as I saw somewhere where Onye is going to be out for this game as well. And that's another name that is ravaged our... I'm very happy with the way our guys that have been called up when we've lost so many guys this season to injury. You know, we've really showed a hard level of attrition in the depth. Our depth chart has been challenged, whereas a lot of teams have gotten this at this point, and their depth has not even been challenged yet. And see, what's the good part about this is when a lot of these players come back and where we're going to be as a football team moving forward. It not only it challenges your depth chart in that particular season, but it makes you that much stronger in the coming seasons. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we kind of want to be full strength for our run this year. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But you're going to see sometimes that works out to your benefit, especially if these players get medical red shirts, which some of these guys are going to. And I look forward to the opportunity to see these guys come back. But I think ultimately the Irish are able to prevail in my home state. I just wish I was able to go, but it's great. It's going to be great for Atlanta because the people in the South finally get to see the wonderful golden domes, and they get to see what Irish fans really look like. And ultimately, hopefully, when Georgia Tech comes back, this show is gone nationally and possibly global, and I can actually broadcast a couple of things from either Bobby Dodd or Mercedes-Benz Stadium, whichever stadium they play this game at. But guys, let me know what you think about number 12 Notre Dame's game versus Georgia Tech. Tell me what you know about Georgia Tech. As I said, final Irish Nation shout out to my man Romello Height. All the best wishes in tomorrow's game. We hope you perform well, just not well enough to beat us. And also let me know what you think about the other players and the things that are going on in South Bend. If you know anything about players that are coming in, any type of what your expectations are. Have the Irish lived up to their expectations? And do you think we make the playoff, as well as do we stand a chance at making the Final Four or even the national championship game? Hit me up on Instagram at Mr. CeeLo. Also, Talk Like a Champion on Facebook. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. And if you are a new subscriber, also comment below so I can keep up with you when the time comes for the 100th drawing. But until we meet again, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun rise warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.